who are visiting Democracy Now! Studios today. Well, Ramarley Graham's parents joined thousands who took part in the protest on Father's Day on Sunday, calling on police to stop the practice known as stop-and-frisk. Last year, New York police officers stopped and interrogated residents nearly 700,000 times. Just 1 in 10 were arrested or ticketed. According to the New York Civil Liberties Union, about 87% of those stopped were Black or Latino. According to the Wall Street Journal, the number of stops of Black men between the ages of 14 and 24 exceeded the total city population of Black men in that age range. Sunday's protest was a silent march organized by the NAACP. It stretched down more than 20 blocks of Fifth Avenue, from Harlem to Mayor Michael Bloomberg's mansion. After the march, I spoke to some of the young people involved. What's your name?
My name's Carmen Perez.
And have you ever been stopped?
Oh, I've been stopped and frisked plenty of times.
What do you mean plenty?
Well, I think it was a cultural norm. In my community, I come from California, a place called Oxnard, and they have gang enjustments there. And so for us, you know, when you play basketball, you play sports, you use a certain color, and so you also meet the profile. And it became the norm for me until I went away to college and I learned that that was injustice. And I learned to articulate, you know, being taken out of my environment and learning that what was happening to us wasn't something that should be happening. I think here in New York City, it's the same thing. We, especially with young people, we don't want it to become normal, right? It becomes normal activity. It's kind of like, you know, young people are saying, well, I don't want to be a stop-and-frisk virgin. Yeah. You know, because it's cool. It's cool.
How old were you the first time you were stopped and frisked?
I was 11 years old.
And what happened then? You were 11 years old?
I was 11 years old. My brother was taking me home after a basketball game with my friends, and he actually met the profile. They pulled us over. They had us at gunpoint. They put us on the floor, and they hogtied him. And after being humiliated, I think, and that wasn't, you know, that wasn't the first, nor was it the last. I think a lot of times after that, you learn to kind of assume the position.
So explain what exactly they do to you from when you were 11 years old, and who is the they?
The police. And initially, you know, you have male police officers that pull you over, and they have to bring in women police officers to frisk you. You assume the position, you spread your legs. You spread your legs, you put your arms behind your back, you get, you know, felt up, and then, you know, sometimes depending on the situation, you get put on the floor for a couple of minutes, you have to sit down. It's a huge, it's one of the ugliest feelings ever. You know, you're humiliated. It's demeaning.
When was the last time you were stopped? Before college?
It was after college. There was an incident that happened where, you know, if you were in the vicinity, you got stopped. Not necessarily frisked, but, you know, it was just kind of like wrong place at the wrong time.
And what do you now say to the police?
You know, luckily, I'm not in those situations, but I do advocate for young people because I've been there. And you know, I think we need to have a conversation with police officers as community members, as activists, as young people. We need to create a space for that dialogue so that they can know what they're doing to us. And although they have to enforce this policy, it's not right. It's not right what we do to young people, specifically, you know, Ramarley Graham, who was killed, you know, and didn't have anything on him. I think what you've seen with these policies, especially in Brownsville, you have, 93 out of 100 young people that are stopped and frisked.
Can you tell me your name?
Hello, hi, my name is Antonio Melendez. I'm one of the Purple and Golds, future of the movement, of the labor movement. I've been stopped plenty of times.
From where? Where do you live?
I was living in Morris Park and White Plains.
In Bronx?
The Bronx, yes, ma'am.
You lived somewhat near where Ramarley Graham lived?
Yes, that was in 233rd. It's on the north, I think the northwest.
How many times have you been stopped?
I've been stopped plenty of times, about 10 times, 15
Have you been
times.
arrested in any of those cases?
No, I have not.
So what do they do to you?
What they do, they tell me what I'm doing within this neighborhood, They stop me and they frisk me. They tell me to take out everything out of my pockets. The fear of their control over me, of a United States that we can walk free. And every time I'm walking, I'm scared. I'm scared what can happen if I question why are you stopping me. They do get offended. They do get harsh sometimes. They say you're in a neighborhood that you shouldn't be. And I thought we were free. And I was 11 my first time that they stopped me, and so forth. And it's humiliating as well. I had tears the first time and wondering, why did you stop me for no apparent reason?
Melendez and Carmen Perez stopped and frisked many times. I also talked to longtime civil rights activist and comedian Dick Gregory. I asked him if he was ever stopped and frisked.
Many times.
Many times?
It was my fault. It was dealing in the civil rights movement. That's altogether a different type of stop, because they have to be on their best behavior then, because there's too many cameras around.
What do you think of all these young people who are describing, like the young woman next to you who said, or the young man on the other side of you who said their first stop was when they were 11 years old?
Yeah, it's happened all the time. It just there was never no spotlight on